treasurer of the association. Rick Paradise over here is our president, and he's learning the game, he says, so he's going to watch me closely, and then he's going to do the next one. And Neil McGuinness is our secretary. Bob is one of our committee. Bob Whitmore's one of our committee, and Mike Windsor is also another one of our committee. Anyone else in the committee here? Oh yeah, Sarah. Our newbie, Sarah Carroll. So and Elaine. We keep adding these people that want to come and join the association, and they've jumped onto the committee, which we're very, very appreciative of. So welcome everybody. Toilets, we all know, Springdale toilets are out here if you need it, and there's glasses of water out the front. And so the purpose of tonight was, and the purpose of tonight's meeting is to, another thing, he's got a camera on. We're trying to, we'll probably be downloading this or uploading, whatever the terminology is, onto our internet or the interwebby thing, whatever it's called. You can see I'm very fluid about cyberspace. So we're going to try and load this stuff up so that we can get information out to as many people as we can. And we elected not to have our parliamentarians or Vic Rose or anyone else here, because the meeting tonight is all about you, what you people want for our town. We could have people sitting up there, you could argue the toss with them, but you can do that through email, and we can give them their phone numbers that are in their emails and all that sort of stuff. So this tonight is all about what you want for our town, and primarily the impetus for the whole meeting was that when the Labor Party came into force, they almost immediately, or both parties said they'd open the bypass. Lisa Neville then committed, I think it was $2 or $3 million to upgrade High Street. And we all know that High Street needs an upgrade. So we thought, why have someone do something that perhaps we haven't thought of? What can we do to, and what would you like to see that High Street should look like after the bypass goes in? Because I don't think it'll happen before the bypass, it might beforehand, but I'm thinking afterwards, what do we need to do to the bypass, to the High Street of Drysdale to make it user-friendly? Currently we have every conceivable vehicle wanting to go through the place. If that goes through the bypass, then in theory maybe there's only 50 or 60% of the current workload that goes through town. So that's one of the things we want to discuss. The other is how do we improve the entrance to our township and create a purposeful information site. When Elaine came on the committee, she's a volunteer also at the railway station, and she and a few of her friends do some gardening and look after stuff, and she put this beautiful letter together to the committee and said, what can we do at the Drysdale station to make it more inviting for people to come, because often they go past and there's no information at all, particularly about some of the things that we're passionate about. So I thought that's a good idea. We'll put that on the agenda, and if you people have got some ideas about what we can do there, we'd love to hear it. We want to know about annual events. Currently, the Drysdale Clifton Springs Community Association hosts the Glass Festival, and a lot of people probably would have been to that. That's been a real eye-opener for a lot of people. So we want to continue things like that. There's the art show, the Rotary Art Show in Easter, and also we have the potato shed. So we have a lot of things around here that other people don't have, and we want to try and expand on things like that. We want to promote our history and our local features, make better use of the Bellarine Railway. Now, David's here. David's involved with the Bellarine Railway, and he's here to answer questions, help us run the show tonight, so glad you can make it, David. We want an update also on the Drysdale Sports Precinct, and also an update on that. I didn't want to say the word service station, but it's that service station down there. We'll give you some updates on that. And maybe we've formed a new group called the Friends of the Foreshore around Curlewis and Clifton Springs, because there's new people moving down there become interested in wanting to do something about the foreshore, and at the present stage we, along with the Ballerine Catchment Network and several other organisations, we have commissioned a booklet called The Flora and Fauna of Clifton Springs Curlewis Foreshore. It's probably going to be put out about September. It's about, I don't know, 40 odd pages thick. Highlights all the indigenous plants and birds and animals that live in this area, and mostly it'll be a learning thing for kids at school and for people that come and visit the land. So hopefully we'll have that launched by about September. And the other one was public transport. And as I said, the meeting is all about what we would like for our towns and what we are prepared to do to ensure that it happens. So, fire away. Does anyone want to start? Oh, two things. Mike Windsor is the spokesperson, our lead champion for the new Boat Harbour installation that's happening down at Clifton Springs. So that's here. Mike will be able to give you some update on what's happening there. And the other one over here is the overview of the bypass, being Geelong here, Jetty Road, coming around here, meeting up with Whitcombs Road, 6.5 kilometres from there to there, and so various roads are cut off, and and we have the exploded version up there, which has only just come out in the last week or so. So if anyone wants to come up and talk to that, we've got a break and show them and have a look at that and fire any questions. So Sarah is going to take a few notes, and if there's any motion coming from the floor, it must be from a member of the association, otherwise anyone's free to speak, and but any formal motion must be by a member of the association. So, open to you, and we'll start the first one on High Street. Does anyone have any ideas about what we could do at High Street?
Does Vic Roads have any suggestions on what they're proposing?
No.
They're really looking to us.
I think they are. So, yeah. One of the things that Neil is very much, I'm going to say pushing, but he's got some ideas. There's a website called Poynton, I think the name is. There's a village in England where it's all shared space, and cars seem to travel past pedestrians at a reasonable 20 to 30 km/h speed limit. And if you can just envisage this whole place in front of us here with a slow, meandering traffic scenario, that's what it would look like. Now, whether or not it can happen, it's something that we want to put towards Vic Roads as we believe a possibility, but it's a long way to go yet, so people might like to see it the way it is. We think that the pedestrian lights over here can be changed to having no lights and just a shared space. That might be what everyone else wants, but that's an opinion some people have. So we would like as many ideas put forward so they can be investigated to find out what is the best opportunity for the people of Drysdale. So, and as Phil's pointed out, the Vic Roads haven't got any, haven't given us any idea of what they might have in mind yet, but that might be true. They might have some ideas, but they haven't shared it with us at this time.
And are they looking from Lake Lawn to the roundabout or beyond? Is it going up Collins Street, or are we leaving Collins Street as is?
As far as I know, the only paperwork they've sent us is the ring road itself. They have done nothing with this here.
Yeah.
There was a meeting here 2 years ago where they had a whole heap of town planners, and they did redesign the roundabout at the pub, and I think they had two lanes of traffic, and I think they had a signalised intersection at the pub. And Murdoch Road was going to be like an alfresco type of thing, where there's a 12-metre setback already for Aldi and Coles and all those places down there. They were going to try and extend, or the thought was extend that up to the roundabout in front of the pub and have that sort of side of the road set aside for outdoor cafes and things like that. And the other one was to where the supermarket is now, Wyndham Street, the roundabout, go up to Wyndham Street and then the turn around and go back down Wyndham Street in front of the shops here. The concept was to cover that in and have a market there place. That's just another concept to have. So there are some ideas out there about how we could do and how we could change the shape of the town. Bear in mind that this intersection here originally had 6 roads coming off it. So it was fine for a horse and cart and wagons and all that back in the 30s or 20s whenever it was designed, back probably 100 years ago when it was designed, but it certainly doesn't meet today's the amount of traffic that needs to go through. Bear in mind, we're still going to have schools here, we're still going to have Christian college and all that sort of stuff, so people are still going to want to come through here to get to school and to pick up kids and all their daily activities. So
you're going to have shopping centres there as well.
And shopping centres, that's right.
So you're not going to stop congestion there at that roundabout, are you?
But we just need to work out how we can manage that better than what currently is, because it's a bit of a dog's breakfast at the moment, we all know that.
I'm Kate Lockhart. I live down Wellington Road. I guess I'm here primarily because I've got 1, soon to be 2, ultimately 3 kids at school at Drysdale Primary.
Yep.
And I just feel that there's a lot of kids coming to and from school, and I try not to use emotional words, but I think it's a disgrace that kids can't walk safely to and from school. And there's not even places nearby that they can safely walk to and from school. And I think if we're going to get a bypass, or if we're going to redo High Street, we need to really think about reducing the car traffic associated with the schools. But in order to do that, you need to have parents assured that there's a safe space for kids to walk and ride and scoot and skate to school. And so if they're going to spend money on High Street, I really would like to see that it's the broader length of High Street. And so I would suggest as a minimum in terms of the High Street redevelopment, it needs to go from Bennett Street, which is just past Drysdale Primary School and Christian College. And I actually think it needs to go all the way back to the train station, so that the rail trail connects into the town. Because the rail trail is lovely, but people just go scooting by, and the train station is lovely, but Drysdale Township is lovely too. But people, there's no obvious connectivity back to the township for people to come and have lunch here on their Sundays and things like that. So I think if we're going to redo High Street, it needs to be a broad definition of High Street,
rather than just a little bit of patch
between the 2 roundabouts.
Yeah, I agree.
If we can incorporate footpath from all the way from the railway station to pick up the one that stops at sort of Mortimer's, there is where it finishes on one side of the street, and if they can create one from Drysdale Lawyers all the way down to Bennett Street on that side, and then there is the one down Clifton Springs Road.
But it's not unreasonable for it to be both sides,
of the road.
I don't actually know how many people are now in Clifton Springs Drysdale, but I'm guessing it's close to 5,000, maybe 10,000 people, I don't know. But you should be able to walk to school, you should be able to have a footpath. With 500 kids at Drysdale Primary, they should at least have a footpath around their own perimeter of the school. And safe crossings, like it just leaves me speechless. It's like China.
Very good, thank you for that. What's that, Gary?
But I think it should be for all ages accessibility, not just for
Yeah,
children.
yeah.
I think you need to encapsulate in that the elderly and people that have a disability. Yes, accessibility. And I think if you're talking about safety, probably you should take into account lighting and things in High Street. To have some kind of lighting up the medium strip that could also enhance your historical character of the town. Do you know how much the budget was for this?
I think they said 2 to 3 million, Gary. I'm not totally sure, but it was around that figure. Yeah, because we also have a lot of elderly folk here, and we aren't getting any younger either. So we're going to be looking for places where it's easy and safe and comfortable.